Hi, welcome back to Self-Esteem Issues, Episode 5, Fueled by Fear, with me, your host, Robin. Today we're diving back into Written and Read by Anne Bishop. First, I would like to announce that I have been feeling this new venture out, and it looks like Sundays are a better day to put out a new episode, so I'm going to start and stick to that schedule. However, there will be clips and sneak peeks during the week on TikTok, Snapchat, and all of the other platforms the podcast is on. With that being said, this week we focus on chapters 17 through 24. Oh, and fair warning, we're getting into some small spoilers for this section, but just this section only. We are getting close to the end, people. This chunk of the book is where things stop feeling quirky and start feeling serious. The courtyard is no longer just a strange refuge. It's a pressure cooker. Meg's growth is quieter, but just as important. In these chapters, she starts making choices that reflect independence, insisting on working, speaking up, and defining herself beyond her past. What's heartbreaking is that her innocence makes her underestimate human cruelty, even as she's learning to trust the others. One of the biggest moments in these chapters is Meg's blood prophecy occurring inside the courtyard. Up until now, the others, they know what she is, but this moment forces them, especially Simon, to emotionally confront the reality of it. Oh, Simon's reaction is intense. It's complicated and absolutely fueled by fear. But it's not selfish fear. He's furious, protective, and shaken all at once. And it becomes clear that Meg isn't just a responsibility to him anymore. She's personal. He's realizing that Meg's survival isn't guaranteed. And this infuriates him deeply. But his anger comes from helplessness more than control. For a Wolfguard leader who's used to certainty, that loss of control is terrifying. At the same time, the human world outside the courtyard grows more threatening. We see human authorities and corporate forces pushing boundaries, still convinced they can control the others if they're clever enough. The biggest trigger isn't outright violence, it's arrogance. Humans continuing to spy, interfere, and assume they're untouchable is what puts them most at risk. These chapters make it clear that the others tolerate mistakes, but they don't tolerate disrespect or exploitation, especially when Meg is involved. As listeners, we can feel the tension building because we understand what the humans don't. The others are watching, and they are running out of patience. By the end of chapter 24, the story feels like it's standing on the edge of something violent and irreversible. The sense of safety is thinning, and everyone can feel it, even if they won't admit it out loud. To sum it up, the emotional stakes rise. Meg's importance becomes undeniable, and the question stops being if conflict will happen and starts being when. Meg's prophecies are becoming harder to ignore. Simon's restraint is being tested, and the human world is still making the mistake of thinking warnings are negotiable. Like I said, the others are watching, they are remembering. This isn't a story about monsters learning mercy. It's about humans learning how close they are to the edge. The warnings were given. The consequences won't be negotiable. And patience, as we're starting to learn, is not limitless. But one thing is painfully clear: Meg's vision is coming true. She soon realized that this was the night she was going to die. Guys, as you can see, oh my goodness, or I guess you can hear, things are really heating up. This book we're getting towards the end, and things are just coming out of all different directions, but it's also coming together, and you can just feel the tension. Like everything is just rising. And, like I said, we've hit the end, and something here is just, I can't wait to read this next few chapters, because I need to see how this is going to unfold. This is like intense, and it's coming together nicely. So, few spoilers in there. I didn't go crazy again, but a few spoilers, and it's just heating up, guys. That's all I can say. But we hit the end of this end of the segment, and I have my discussion questions ready here for you, so I'm gonna go and do those for you. But this week, I did decide to make them a little more short and punchy, if you will. Like the words are daggers coming at you, or, bullets, pew, pew, pew. Anyway, here we go. Number 1, kindness. Here, kindness isn't hugs, it's protection and rules. The others show care through boundaries. Humans call manipulation help. Respect is the real love language, and without it, you do not survive. Number 2, Meg's normalcy, hopeful or reckless, both. She wants a job and she wants friends. Adorable, right? But in the courtyard, our one social misstep can be fatal. Her innocence is brave, but also it's terrifying. Who really has power? Number 3? Well, the others. Period. Humans just think paperwork equals dominance. Meanwhile, the real predators don't need to announce themselves. Number 4, Simon's leadership test. Territory is easy. Meg, on the other hand, is not. He could command a pack, but protecting someone who scrambles his instincts, that's the real trial. Number 5, overreaction or justified. Human eyes say dramatic. The others say survival. Meg isn't just fragile, she's powerful. And power demands control. Number 6, fear in humans. Fear's making them tighten their grip instead of open their minds. They choose control over understanding. And that's how disasters are born. Number 7, who's changing who? Meg softens the courtyard. The courtyard hardens Meg. Coexistence is cute. It's transformation. Number 8, what's the warning? Well, this is the calm before the claws. Every cross line is being counted, and consequences are patient. Guys, this book, I'm getting even more excited every time I get into another few chapters, and every segment that I give to you, there's a little more and a little more, but this last grouping, I read way more than I needed to. I didn't do just an hour, and I went through almost all the chapters I needed to read in a couple of days, because I just couldn't put this book down. Everything is coming together. It's beautifully written. She did such a great job with this book. I can't wait to finish it, see what happens, and move on to the next book in her series, because I'm just thinking that as we keep going through this series, every book's going to be even better. But that's all I have today. Join me next time. We're going to step into chapters 25 through 32. That's to the end of the book, guys. And a little snippet. This is where protection begins to look a lot like threat, and where choices made in fear may finally demand blood level consequences. Until then, read carefully and remember, the world was never meant to be safe for humans. Bye bye.